Hi there, welcome to another Team Clueless Battle Report. Today we are playing a 1750 point game of 40k and it's a special mission. Today we are playing a game called Blood Feud. So basically the idea of the game is that Nick, over there,
Hello.
who I'm playing today, he wanted to use the new Khorne Daemonkin, so I decided I'd use my Blood Angels and we'd have some massive close combat munch up in the centre of the table. So I designed this mission. In this mission, there are 3 special Blood Relic tokens on the board. They are moved around like normal relics with a couple of basic exceptions. The exceptions are you're allowed to move further than 6 inches during the assault phase while you are assaulting. So if you roll 8 inches on your charge distance, you're okay to move 8 inches without dropping your relic. The other thing is you can pick up a relic that has been dropped by an opponent during a close combat after you have slaughtered him, because that seems quite thematic for a Khorne-based game. So I'm thinking the basic idea is these are droplets of kind of like some blood that's been left over from a sanguinary priest dying, and Khorne has tainted it, so the Blood Angels are trying to retrieve it, while the Khorne Daemonkin are trying to also get their hands on it. Due to the fact that Khorne has taken such an interest in the battle, we have a couple of special rules. One of them, I think, is called Khorne's Pervasive Fury or something, and basically that means that all units add +2 to their charge distance throughout the game, so that's hugely powerful and will greatly increase the amount of charges that people will get off, so that's really handy. And the other one is any unit that is carrying a Blood Relic gets +1 attack on every model in the unit. So again, really powerful, but they have to declare a charge if they are able to during their own turn. So how do you win the game? That is the next question on everybody's lips. So this is another kind of like cumulative victory point type game. At the end of each opponent's turn, if you are holding a Blood Relic, you score 1 victory point for each Blood Relic you are holding. A unit can only ever hold 1 Blood Relic. So if I run forward turn 1, manage to grab that one in the centre there, and then manage to keep hold of it all the way through next turn, at the end of next turn, I gain a victory point. During each player turn, the side that has won the most close combats, they gain a victory point then. So there'll be a load of victory points on offer that way. If it's a draw, Nick wins 1 close combat, I win another, neither of us gain a victory point. If we slay the opponent's warlord in a challenge, we gain an additional victory point alongside the usual slay the warlord victory point that we will gain. And we also have first blood involved in this mission, but no line breaker. I don't think there are any more victory conditions. I'll look on my bit of paper before the next part of the video and find out then.
Objectives at the end of the game.
Oh yes, well done, Nick. So if at the end of the game, so during the game, you score the victory points if you are carrying a Blood Relic. Not controlling, there's a slight difference. If your unit is holding it, you get it, even if you're surrounded by opponent's objective secure units. But at the end of the game, you score 3 victory points for each Blood Relic you control, which is different. That's the standard 3 inches of it. You are kind of like controlling or contesting the objective. Nick's army in this game has objective secured on all its troops. Mine does not, so I think he gains a bit of an advantage there. Okay, we're playing side to side. We haven't chosen our side yet. We'll do so shortly, but that is the table. Let's go on to our armies. So, 1750 points of Blood Angels today. We are led by the hero himself, Commander Dante. We have got 2 HQ choices. One is a Sanguinary Priest. He has a jump pack, and I believe he also has an Auspex. And we have Astarath the Grim. I'm afraid he's not fully painted as yet, so he's quite black against the black background of the Death Company. Speaking of Death Company, in Elites we have 9 Death Company. They've got a Power Fist in there. At the back there we have another 5 Death Company. It looks like they've got a Thunder Hammer. Hard to see again because it's just base coated, but I'm using it as a Power Fist today. I just prefer the Thunder Hammer model. We also have 6 Sanguinary Guard. They have 1 Power Fist in there. The rest are all armed with swords. They have a banner there, and there are 2 Melter Pistols in there as well. I forgot to say I'm using the Sanguinary Bale Strike Force formation today, the one that gives you +1 initiative when you charge. Troop choices. We have over here a 10-man tactical squad inside a fast Rhino. They have a Flamer and a Heavy Flamer. Our other troop choice is Castor the Damned. He's from the Special Campaign box set. There's a troop choice data slate for him in there. He's basically a Death Company Dreadnought with a load of upgrades on him. He as a character is the thing that sets him aside from normal Death Company Dreadnoughts you can take, other than obviously the fact he's a troop. In heavy support, we have a Rifleman. Oh, no, I think he's an Elite again. Luckily, I'm allowed to take 4 Elites in the Blood Angel Strike formation. There is a Dreadnought there with 2 twin-linked assault cannons, auto cannons, which they're assault cannons. And up here, rounding out the force, we have a Storm Raven with twin-linked assault cannon, twin-linked multi-melter. Castor the Damned is going to be riding around in that bad boy. Let's see what Nick is bringing to oppose us.
Right, for the Khorne army today, as it's my first time, I'm just trying out lots of different sort of things, but what's a Khorne army without a Bloodthirster there?
And that is a pretty mighty Bloodthirster you got there.
That is indeed. He's actually the Bloodthirster of Incensed Rage, so he has the double-handed axe, the two-handed axe rather than the whip and normal axe.
Jason, if you find yourself watching this, I'll be bringing that round at some point for you to paint.
We have also got a Land Raider, which is going to have 9 Khorne Berserkers in there. And we've got a Chaos Lord with in Terminator armour with the Axe of Khorne. We thought we'd give the axe a try. We have a Soul Grinder, which has got some phlegm to throw out at some Space Marines. And he has a Warp Sword as well. We've got just a standard Hellbrute, just armed just as he normally would come. A Rhino, which has got 5 possessed in it. They look fairly possessed, these
yeah, they're not the correct models, but they look pretty possessed.
Yeah. And then we've got a unit of 10 cultists with auto guns, and there's a heavy stubber in there as well.
Nick's under the impression that heavy stubber will actually do something.
It might.
Yeah, we'll
You'll be
see.
Surprised.
I will be surprised.
There's a unit of 8 cultists that you know what they're really in there for. They're in there just to die.
Yeah, exactly. Don't beat around the bush.
There's 8 cultists there. And then we've got 2 units of 8 blood letters as well. And we've got a unit of 3 blood crushers. As I say, it's basically just to try out a few different units, see what I like with the Khorne army.
For those that haven't seen what the Khorne Daemonkin can do, basically there's a chart that tracks how many units die.
Strangely enough, I know you probably may not be able to read it. That's it in the book.
So every unit that dies on my side or Nick's side, we count on a dice and count up, and at the start of each of Nick's turns, he could spend any of those points to activate special abilities like giving his whole army feel no pain, summoning new bloodthirsters, all kinds of stuff. So we'll be telling you what he does with that throughout the game.
Yeah. The Bloodthirster is my warlord, obviously, for this game, and his warlord trait is he has preferred enemy as well.
Yeah, a pretty good one to pick up.
Yeah, so not pretty good to this game. Well, let's set up and then see how we go.
Okay, so you join us at setup. This side is my table half. Nick is deployed on the other table half. I had to deploy first, or got the choice of deploying first, and then had the choice of going first. So I didn't deploy a whole lot to the table, but look at the size of armies. Nick has so much more in his army than I do. I've deployed a Dreadnought over here, a Rhino full of tactical marines there with the Death Company behind them, the other Death Company squad over there. Off the table I have my Storm Raven, my Castle of the Damned, Dante, the Sanguinary Priest, and the Sanguinary Guard Deep Striking in. So I've still got a fair amount of points to come in. Nick has deployed a shed load of stuff. He's got Blood Letters over there, Blood Crushers there, some Cultists there, the Soul Grinder in the middle, the Hellbrute, the Bloodthirster at the back there, a Land Raider.
Bloodletters in the woods.
Bloodletters in the woods. A Rhino over there with the Possessed in, some more Cultists behind them. So I've gone first, and I get to choose to go first or second. Even though I can't really afford to move forward, because Nick will easily outsort me at this point, I've chosen to go first, basically to get my reserves on the table one turn quicker. But Nick is now going to attempt to seize initiative. And if you've watched many of our videos, you know that this is a near certain thing to happen. So, Nick,
should I just place it down?
You could just place it down on the 6. Let's see what it's going to be.
It's a 6!
Friggin' leavable. It seriously is like 5 out of 6 videos we steal the initiative in. Okay, well, we knew that was going to happen, so let's see what Nick does on his turn 1.
End of turn 1 for the Khorne Demons. Right, as it's going to be, it was a very quick turn. Obviously, Bloodletters moved and ran up there in the ruins. The Blood Crushers moved up, and we have picked up some blood for the Blood God. So we've got one token there. The cultists that were hiding down here and the Bloodletters that are in the wood have basically moved up to the centre there. A couple of cultists managed to get up, so we're trying to work towards there. Just to, as I say, I want them to hold the objectives, but also they can distract you from shooting my other things, because if I'm holding them, you need to kill them. So good. Soul Grinder didn't move this turn. It just fired over. It fired its flame over there.
Cover saves were good. I think I've taken 1 wound on the main guy.
You taken 1 wound on the main guy. You had a 3-up cover save on the Rhino.
Yeah, cover saves were pretty handy.
Obviously, it's 4 things I hit. I rolled 4 6s to wound. I penetrated the Rhino.
It was like,
I looked at that and went,
nice rolling.
Yeah, so it was nice. Hellbrute just moved up. Nothing for it to see and shoot at. Bloodthirster just moved forward. Land Raider moved forward. I was tempted to, obviously, it was only going to be 1 shot, possibly do another wound, but I decided to just move up another 6. Rhino moved up 6, turned round. The possessed got out. They wasn't close enough to pick up that objective there, the relics a bit. So they just basically try and hide behind cover there, and the cultists have moved up. So that was my turn, basically. It's just lots of moving.
Yep.
So we'll see how the Marines do on their first turn.
Blood Angel turn 1. Due to the fact that over half my points are still off the board, I had to play quite defensively this turn. The Dreadnought over here, he backed up a bit and managed to do a little trick shot underneath the raised platform there and clipped the side of Nick's Hellbrute. I got a penetrating hit through the cover, but all it did was stop him from moving or shooting next turn, so he's rolling on the Hellcraze table, or whatever it's called. Down here, all of my Death Company thinking, oh bollocks, there's a giant Bloodthirster, a Land Raider full of Chaos Marines, and a Hellbrute coming towards me. They have skipped sideways until reinforcements arrive and are seeking shelter in the forest. This guy has popped smoke and also moved sideways. Over here, I wanted to try and get the first blood and also win a round of assault victory points. So I chipped forward with my Death Company. They landed on the objective, picked that up, and then assaulted into the possessed. Death Company assaulting obviously do a ton of damage. But I didn't roll particularly well for actually getting the damage through. I killed 4 of the possessed, leaving the sergeant alive. Nick rolled the AP 3 and got 3 wounds through. Luckily, my Feel No Pain came to the rescue and saved 2 of my guys. I then raised my Power Fist to squelch his remaining guy and missed all 4 attacks. So not favourite there. I really wanted first blood out of that. But on the plus side, Nick doesn't gain any blood points because no unit's been wiped out as yet.
I do gain a VP though.
You do.
Your turn, and
I was going to say that. So it is 1 victory point each because I have won a round of assault. So that gives me 1, and Nick controls this blood point over here at the end of my turn. Okay, let's see what happens next.
So we come to the end of Khorne turn 2. We decided to swap the blood droplet thing on over here. So the blood clusters.
It's a blood relic, Nick. It's a blood relic.
It's blood from the blood god. We must save it. The blood crushers decided to come over here to charge into the big unit over there, and the bloodthirster was going to attempt to do the same. As you see, the bloodthirster actually failed its charge by 1 inch, which is pain, but the blood crushers did go in. I will go through the combat in a minute. So the bloodletters, they came round, picked it up, and then they've run. They managed to run 6 inches back towards the soul grinder because obviously lots of stuff coming in. We thought, well, a little bit of protection. We also decided no one really wants to go near this Khorne symbol.
Yeah.
We cultists rolled to see how far they could move.
This is hilarious.
They went to move, was it 2 inches?
2 inches on their 2 dice move through cover.
None of these guys on the floor here could actually get up the top. So these guys, well, one moved slightly further forward, going.
That's okay, Nick. So you decided to. I
decided to move the bloodletters, and they got to 2 of them get up to the top. The rest of the pile down the bottom.
That was including their run move. You're double 1 for moving
that
through
was
cover.
good. Yeah. And then because they didn't actually get up there on their normal move. It was the run move that got them up top. And then obviously the run move for the cultists, I rolled a 1 as well. So again, I just got nowhere near this relic, which was a pain. The soul grinder just shuffled over a bit slightly. Nothing it could shoot at this turn. The Hellbrute, we rolled on the funny Hellbrute table that had to removing the craze markers, and it had to basically stay still immobilised, but it got to fire its weapons twice. Yep. It's supposed to fire it at the target that shot it first, but if you can't, the nearest visible unit. So it fired at the Rhino and
got a pin. It stopped it from shooting this turn.
Yeah, so not bad. The Rhino disgorged the Chaos Berserkers, thinking.
Land Raider did.
Oh, Land Raider, yes, sorry. Thinking we shall help out our possessed friend over here. And as you can see, the possessed guy is alive. I haven't lost any Khorne Berserkers, and the Marines are no more. And I am now in charge of a blood relic.
Yep.
The Rhino just popped smoke this turn, and the cultists stayed where they were because there's stuff coming on in reserves. I don't know where it's all going, and of course, I was better off basically just sitting here seeing what we want to attempt to do. So the close combat over here. Obviously, I was going second.
I think it's important to point him out, Nick.
Him failing.
Yeah.
I did mention in the movie that he failed.
Oh, did you? Oh, sorry, I forgot that.
But the Blood Crushers, they come in. Obviously, going second, a lot of the Marines were going first, apart from you had one with a Power Fist, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
the Astrath himself.
You did enough wounds to actually could have killed them all.
I did 2 wounds on Overwatch, putting 1 onto 1 wound, and then in Assault I did another 5.
Yeah.
Meaning I killed 1 and you allocate the wounds to another one. So both of these are on 1 wound.
And then I got quite a lot of
You
wounds
got
back.
7 wounds back on me.
You took them all on him, and he rolled
made
3.
my 2 up save each
He made
time.
three twos. He rolled, so I did no wounds. So obviously, being fearless, it means I'm in combat.
That's it.
with him.
Astrath and the Power Fist whiffed all of their attacks back, so I didn't kill any of the 2 on 1 wound, which I think is really good for you because it means the Bloodthirster now gets the charge. Because if I'd have wiped those out, which I think I probably should have done.
Depends what you do in the Marines.
Well, yeah, no, but I still don't. If this unit could charge a Bloodthirster, they can kill a Bloodthirster when they charge it, but they can't kill a Bloodthirster if it charges them.
But it also means neither one of us got a point for combat because I won 1.
Yep,
and
you won 1. You got first blood for my Feud over there.
Yes, luckily.
And I don't obviously. I'm not holding a blood relic, so you're now up to 2 VPs. I'm on 1.
Yeah, and obviously for your turn, I'm holding 2 blood relics as well.
Yeah, so I really need to sort that out.
Yes,
and you've got 1 blood point to spend next turn. Nick. Adamantium will could be yours.
Oh.
I'm hoping to kill some of your units.
I might get something better. We shall see.
Blood Angel, turn 2. This turn, both my reserves came in due to Dante's fancy rolling, but unfortunately, they did appallingly. So, firstly, the good stuff. This Rhino backed up over here, disgorged its 10 Marines. They flamed and bolted the Bloodletters to death. Pretty self-explanatory. It was always going to happen. Dreadnought walked up here, got 4 hits into the other what's it called? Hellbrute.
Hellbrute.
Only got 1 hit through though, and managed to stop it from moving and shooting this turn, so it'll be rolling on its blood graze table again. Over here, I see the Soul Grinder is quite a big threat to the rest of my army, so Dante dropped down behind it. 3 close range melter shots, 3 1s.
You were just out of half range those as well.
Oh, well, it was the hit rolls. I just rolled 1s on all my hit rolls. So I managed to get a glance through, I think, with a crack grenade. Over here, this guy swooped on, unloaded his storm of anti-armour shots. Multi-mod failed to hurt this. Assault Cannon and Bloodstrike missiles failed to hurt this. Again, I just didn't roll very nicely. Over in the combat over here, Astarath decided to discard his axe because it was failing him and use his bolt pistol so he could go first and take out the Blood Crushers. Unfortunately, I got 2 hits in, but a double 1 again failed to wound the Blood Crushers, so they got to hit me back. And I rolled a 1 again on my save on Astarath to try and soak the wounds. So Astarath lost a wound to them. Managed to kill them back with the Death Company though, and that was the only close combat this turn, so I gain a VP for that. Nick is holding the blood point over here, so he gains a victory point for that. Other than that, nothing really happened this turn. It was a pretty poor turn for me. I suspect Nick is going to be nicely hot with his Bloodthirster charging in this turn, Nick. Your first use of the D-Slapper.
So here we reach the end of the Khorne turn 3. My master plan for this turn was the Cultists. We're going to fail to reach that. There was no point in me having 2 units going for that now. And with the Marines here on their move would have reached that. I knew I wouldn't reach on my move phase, so I actually got to move down, as you can see. And then the Soul Grinder decided to flame the Marines, and I took out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
4 of them.
Yeah, so I took out enough of them, and then the Cultists run up to surround the Blood Relic. So they're not holding it. So if the Marines come in and kill me in close combat, they don't get to take the Blood Relic from me. It just stops them from picking it up. So it saves me a VP for a turn, really. The Bloodletters actually failed to move again up.
Double 2.
They ran and got a 5 on their run move. So next turn I can pick that one up, as long as there is still some left alive. The Bloodthirster did as we thought it would do. It moved up and charged into them. I shall go through the close combats in a minute, because there was 2 close combats.
Yep.
The Khorne Berserkers kept hold of the Blood Relic and got inside the Land Raider, so they're going to be hard to crack, and there's a victory point per turn at the moment.
Yeah.
And they turned around and shot at Dante's squad. The Possessed is just running alongside the Land Raider at the moment, quite possessed, charging towards Dante's squad. The Rhino turned around and fired at Dante's squad. The Cultists, Curly.
Did they do anything? No, they didn't.
No, they didn't. They fired and they did cause a couple of wounds, but it's a 2-up armor save, so he made a save. The Heavy Stubber almost caused the wound.
Yep.
The Hellbrute on its
It was amazing.
it was indeed. I will show you Dante's squad and what's left.
It's
of
not
it.
Dante's squad anymore, Nick. What are you talking about?
Hey, that was a surprise.
I think they can probably guess, Nick.
The Hellbrute got a on the D3 got the maximum one, so it basically had to move towards the nearest. There you go. This is what's Dante's squad. It was Dante's squad, as we say.
Yes.
It had to move towards the nearest unit, so it could then fire its weapons.
Most importantly, it got fleet and rage, which both came into play.
And also, basically, if it wasn't in range if it wasn't in maximum charge range, it had to run towards the nearest enemy. So we moved in, we multi-melted, we did kill one.
No, you did a wound to Dante with your multi-melter.
Oh yeah, sorry. And the las cannon come in.
One of them.
Yeah. Didn't Dante have 2 wounds taken?
He'd already
before?
taken a wound previously.
So, but anyway, the Hellbrute charged in. Dante and yours went first, and your squad, apart from the Power Fist that's in there.
Power Fist killed you, but that was initiative 1 the same time you struck Dante's squad. I think I got 8 hits on you, but I didn't roll a single 6 on those.
Yeah, and you only needed one
to kill
and that would have done that.
you hit me.
And then Dante, the Hellbrute's 4 Power Fist attacks basically
hit me 4 times.
Hit 4 times, wounded. I killed Dante and 2 others, was it? One other?
I tried to take someone because it would have killed the whole squad otherwise. So I started taking the hits on Dante, hoping to soak someone who's invulnerable. He failed his first invulnerable, so lost the wound. He had 1 left. I tried looking out, sir. He failed 1 lookout, sir. Failed another invulnerable, killed him, and then 2 other members of the squad died as well. So
so it gave me Slay the Warlord as well. So
I then killed you back with a Power Fist, it was horrendous. The fact you hit 4 times with a Power Fist was just amazing.
It should not have happened.
No.
I will say that should not have happened. The combat over here, the Bloodthirster obviously has to issue a challenge because of special
Astaroth
rules.
accepted. I got my instant death axe. If I can roll a 6 to wound, I got 2 hits in.
Yeah.
But no 6s to wound, unfortunately. So
no, the Bloodthirster has
I did a wound to you.
You did A wound with Astaroth and you done A wound with a normal dude. Because he's taken 2 wounds, but I, in return, with me D weapon, killed Astaroth.
You just went straight through Astaroth for 1 hit.
Yeah, just went straight through them.
And killed, I think, another 4 Death Company on top of Astaroth, so he'll wipe that squad out next turn, I suspect.
In my turn, I did use my blood points and gave everything feel no pain until the end of my
saved
turn.
your Bloodthirster wound.
Yeah, it did. And I'm back up to 3 blood points as well through this turn from killing Dante, Astaroth, and the Hellbrute going. So it might also help the cultists slightly, probably not, but who knows. But it's the end of my turn 3.
I think I need an utterly amazing turn this
turn.
And
it's what's the VP so far? Or should we wait?
4 to you, 3 to me.
So we'll see how your turn 3 goes.
It's still quite close, but I feel you killed my 2. You killed about 500 points of character that turn.
Yeah.
With me doing nothing in return. So
well, we'll see how your turn 3 goes.
Blood Angel turn 3. Needed this to be a good one. It was an okay one. So what happened this turn? I tank shocked in with my Rhino, broke the cultists. I then moved in with my Marines, picked up a relic, heavy flame of the cultists, charged the cultists, wiped them out. So that was pretty good going there, as we expected. The remains of Dante's poor squad, who were looking so good and are now so poor, they moved up, double melted into the back of the Soul Grinder. I got 1 hit through, stopped it from moving. I then fired the Assault Cannon and 2 more Bloodstrike missiles into it and managed to get 2 more hits on it, which destroyed it. So Soul Grinder out of play is good because that's a real threat to my army. Castle of the Damned disembarked, so this flyer is on the floor. Castle of the Damned disembarked, melter-gunned the Land Raider, missed. But the multi-melter on top here made up for it, getting a hit on the Land Raider, penning it and blowing it up. Castle of the Damned then assaulted into the Berserkers, who couldn't really hurt it. I challenged the Chaos Lord. Nick had a melter bomb on the Sergeant in there, so he accepted with the Chaos Lord, so the melter bomb Sergeant could hit Castle. Castle did quite well. He got 4 hits in on the Chaos Lord, rolled 3 1s to wound. Oh, I'm going to go back, Nick. He gets to re-roll to wound. That's its special power.
Oh.
Okay, I might get some more wounds in here. 3 more dead Marines, Nick. So that's cheered me up a bit, because that's given me an extra victory point. So Castle killed now the Chaos Lord and 3 Marines. The Sergeant returned a hit, managing to get a whole point off of Castle with his melter bomb. But Castle really is built to kill Space Marines who don't have power fists in their unit because he's just going to go through them. What else happened? Over here, the Bloodthirster wiped out 4 of the Death Company, but importantly, there is still the Power Fist Death Company still alive, who managed to get 1 wound onto the Bloodthirster. That was pretty handy. The Dreadnought over here just fired at the Blood Letters, dealing a wound to them, killing a Blood Letter. That's quite good. And the scores on the doors with my gaining of that extra thing.
I gained my 1 from
I won.
holding.
Yep, I won those 2 close combats. Nick won this close combat, so I gain 1 there, and Nick gains 1 for still holding a Blood Relic at the end of my turn. So Nick is 5-4 ahead. Nick is also, though, up to 7 blood points. So Nick, what are you intending to do with your blood points on your turn?
I'm tempted to summon in a Demon Prince.
Nice, that'll cost you all 7, but it resets to 0 no matter what you do, so
Yeah.
you're kind of encouraged to do the highest. If it had got 1 high, you could have attempted a Bloodthirster.
Oh, that's what I was
Yeah,
hoping.
yeah.
That's what's annoyed me. That one
Yeah, that
person
one
left there.
dude down here has stopped the Bloodthirster multiplying. Okay, let's see what happens on Nick's next turn.
So we reached the end of turn 4 for Khorne, and I spent the blood points. I am back up to 1. I didn't get the Demon Prince. I decided for some Blood Crushers instead. Because the Demon Prince, I probably would have used my character from the Cultist to get it. And it has to deep strike somewhere within 6 inches of him. They were in the corner. It's
Bit
too dangerous.
risky,
Bit
isn't
risky.
it? Yeah.
It's a bit too risky. So I summoned the Blood Crushers. I tried dropping them down here, but it's near the, obviously, Blood Letters. But they did scatter 10 inches back this way. I was hoping for here, so they could have been, depending on where...
They could then support you versus mighty units.
Yes, and just trying to help out with there. My Blood Letters actually picked up the Blood Relic this turn.
Finally, we worked out. You could have done that turn 2 with a decent move for recovery.
Yeah, so I could have had an extra like 2 VPs.
Yeah, but you did turn 4. They rolled shockingly on their moving for recover, didn't they?
Yeah, so they've basically run back up that way. The Bloodthirster has finally won that combat, but he took another wound. So he's actually only got 1 wound left.
Yeah,
the Bloodthirster.
the Power Fist armed Death Company, wasn't he?
Yes, so the Bloodthirster's not actually looking particularly healthy, but I would like to try and use the Bloodthirster for other things. Rhino moved up here just to try and block the possess run towards Dante's old squad, and the Cultist moved round. Heavy Stubber again.
Nick will consider the game a win if he kills something with the Heavy Stubber.
I did caused him to make 1 save. He rolled a 2.
Yep.
2. Only just made his save. That was the thing. The close combat down here. Obviously, we had to issue a challenge again. So, obviously, the champion went in.
Yeah, I killed your guy with the power.
Melter bomb. Before obviously he got to do it. The other guys did another whole point. Unfortunately, if I'd rolled one more 6 again, that dreadnought would have gone. I still would have lost the same amount of men. Because obviously my guy's going the same initiative.
He's a character. That's the only difference really between him and a normal dreadnought in actual statistic wise.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's a character and he can challenge out the guy with the melter bomb, the guy with the power fist, is a really powerful bonus that I think that's what makes him worth taking.
Yeah, but I mean, as I say, it's your combat. And my guy's not going to survive. I've just got to try and roll a 6.
If you roll a 6 with your crack grenade, I'm dead as well. So.
Yeah, so that's basically what I'm hoping for. But we shall see how. VPs has actually gone up to 5 all now as well, so it is very, very close.
It's pretty. You were winning easily early rounds, but killing that Land Raider has swung that whole side of the battlefield.
Yeah, it swung that back into you, and as we said, not having that.
Yeah, being so slow at picking up and when you had control of the centre of the board, you just couldn't get there, could you?
No. So, well, we shall see how the turn 4 goes for the Marines.
Blood Angel, turn 4. So, first thing to notice is there is no Bloodthirster down here. I'd positioned it so the Dreadnought and the Storm Raven could fire at the Bloodthirster, but only the Dreadnought was needed. He managed to chop into him and got through his armour. When the Feel No Pain's not up from the blood points, the Bloodthirster is reasonably easy to take down. In close combat, he's protected by his weapon skill 10, but at range, autocannons just do a good job at sticking wounds on him. Other stuff. So, my Marines, you can see, hopefully, they're Rhino. Nice action shot there. They went inside the Rhino with their relic and have backed up under there so they could flame her out the back of their Rhino, and they cooked one of the Blood Letters, the only one they could see. The Storm Raven then opened fire with his assault cannon and took out the front 4 of those. He fired his multi-melter as well. Unfortunately for Nick, the 4th one from the front was the one that had the relic, so he dropped the relic, stopping him scoring that point. Over here, the remains of Dante's squad, heroically fighting on after the death of their leader, they moved up and double melter-gunned the Blood Crushers, managed to get 1 wound past their invulnerable save, being strength 8 to instant death 1. They then charged in, and combination of the banner giving them lots of extra attacks, and then the power fist at the end, and just having lots of high weapon skill attacks, managed to kill the other 2 Blood Crushers as well. So that wiped them out, so there's not really much of a threat over here. Castle the Dam survived the crack grenade and tore apart the last Marine, and then claimed the relic as his own, lifting it high in his clawed hand. At that point, we decided to call the game, because I am now, because I won 2 close combats to Nick's none, I am 6-5 up on victory points, but we don't really think there's much chance of Nick getting back in it, because the Storm Raven, he just can't hurt.
I've got 3 guys to pick that relic up, and you've got a Dreadnought and a Storm Raven just to shoot those 3 guys.
That's it, and Castor over here, along with those, can mop up these things. I mean, it's basically the Storm Raven is what's going to win me this, because it just floats around killing stuff.
Well, I've got 1 possessed and a unit of cultists left.
Yeah, exactly.
So
you could summon more stuff. The fact they have to summon him for a turn and then don't get to do anything.
I've only got 4 blood points this turn, so it's not even enough to summon something.
That's it. If you could have summoned this turn onto that relic, say, to hold it, it would have worked a bit better.
Yes.
So, thoughts on the game? It was a really swingy game, I think. Early on, I was rolling shockingly, but later game, as always happens, it swings back, doesn't it? You were rolling really bad, so it's just
I rolled bad. I mean, I could have killed, if I killed the Power Fist in the turn beforehand.
Bloodthirst still alive, he could do a lot more.
Yeah, the Bloodthirster could have come down and taken out your Marines, stop you from doing that. Cultists could have taken it, or come over to Storm Raven and help the...
I mean, I rolled really bad, Dante dying, but then his squad since then have rolled really well. They shrugged off fire and they walked in and just killed 3 Blood Crushers, no problem. Castor, the fact that I blew up your Land Raider and then got to charge the contents, I think that was the point where the game swung for me, because that was your Lord and 8 Berserkers who could do a lot of damage to anything else, but they couldn't really hurt him. He was a counter to them. So he just charged in there and tore them up.
Yeah, I mean, I was a bit unlucky, I'd say, if I could have rolled a couple more 6s with grenades. But it swings again, like the Hellbrute. You were unlucky to roll 1 6 against it to kill it.
Goes to show Dreadnoughts are actually pretty good in close combat.
Yeah, no, let's say, I'm not really, because I've obviously got the Space Marine army as well, which I'm starting getting as well, but I've not really used Dreadnoughts. The Hellbrute, I really like. I wasn't too fussed by it. I'm quite happy. 100 points, Hellbrute. He was fine by it was.
Does useful stuff. Yeah. I think the fact he's got a multi-melter and a power fist, he can deal with a lot of stuff.
And even the fact that you shot him and he lost the glance hit, like the first time, he just had to shoot the Rhino. There was a chance he could have done. He penned the Rhino. Chance he could have done more to it, but
the second time we got Fleet and Rage was awesome.
Yeah, and then and obviously I sent him into Dante's squad. I didn't expect, as I say, I didn't expect him to do as well as he did, but he did very well.
Yeah.
And
he was awesome.
To hold him up,
Soul Grinder, I was really scared of. I always am. They're so good. That's why Dante's squad went there and were, let's melt him.
Yeah, Soul Grinders, I like Soul Grinder.
They're so tough for their points.
Because obviously you got the Defiler and the Soul Grinder in the corner, Soul Grinder wins.
I think the comedy thing is they got them next to each other, so on one page and then the next page. They're very similar units, except the Soul Grinder's
better.
50 to 60 points cheaper and better in every way.
Yeah. I mean, I took the Warp Sword with the Soul Grinder. I possibly could save the 25 points and not bother with it.
Yeah, I don't think it's really worth the Warp Sword.
Yeah, I took it for this one, though, because of the mission was mostly close combat based. So I didn't know, okay, yes, I wanted to phlegm everything, but I didn't know if I would end up getting Soul Grinder getting something and needing the Warp Sword in close combat.
So speaking of choosing your listen stuff, what did you think of your army? We discussed before the game that you just chose your army using a basic combined arms attachment this time.
Yeah, which I didn't mind. It was all right. I mean, I didn't know about the hidden bloody force.
Yeah, you weren't quite sure about how to build with the special formation, which we discussed. And next time, I think there's a way you can build it.
I mean, I was only out of it because of 1 unit, which I'd taken, which I think was actually the Hellbrute.
For those who don't know, you can take one of these newfangled, people call them Jacurians, because that's what it was called in the Necron book. But you can take a detachment that allows you to include formations, and you can basically stack special rules. The way the Khorne Daemonkin one works is if you take one formation which contains kind of like a Chaos Lord, some Cultists, some Blood Crushers,
some Bloodletters. You can take Cultists and Sport and Chaos.
And you have to have Possessed, I think, don't you?
And you have to have at least 1 to 4 units of Possessed, 2 to 8 units of Bloodletters, and I think there's something else you can take.
But basically, the core building blocks of your army, if you take that, you then get to, whenever you spend your blood points, You can also take a lower result from the charts. That gives you double use.
You can take the 1 to 4. So you can
really powerful. But you can stack that with the bigger formation thing that you can put these other formations in. It's called complicated down in the book. But that lets you generate 1 extra blood point a turn, which I think would have really helped this game. Because you were often... Like, you had 7 when you wanted to summon a Bloodthirster and you needed 8.
Yeah.
But this last turn, you had 4 where you really wanted 5 to summon a unit to help. I think that would make a big difference. Give you an extra 5 blood points over the game. And the fact that you get double use out of them all. So, next time you play, I think try and build it with that.
No, I think I will try. I will go base an army around on that, I think, next. But as for trying out, because as I say, it's mostly for trying out units. Bloodletters, 80 points. I was quite happy with them.
Yeah,
really.
Nothing wrong with Bloodletters. They're generally not going to do... They used to be terrifying because the AP3, but nowadays AP3 is not as good as it was. I mean, I wasn't that scared of them.
No, I mean, I took AP3 if they got in close combat.
But
they could have done something.
They're 80 points. I mean...
Yeah, 80 points at 8. They did what they wanted to, what I really needed to do. It was I wanted to use them...
They couldn't climb, though, Nick. They couldn't get up this kind of like the laddery-like side bit of this bit of terrain.
It's a bit, slippery. I mean, it's the blood that's dripping down from the relics there, you know.
For the Blood Angel's point of view, Dante, again, I was using him to soak wounds, but he failed every armor save he tried to make, so he was pretty poor. But Cassor the Damned was awesome, going in and just tearing through stuff as he should. As I said earlier in the video, him being a character his boss is really powerful. I
was happy with the cultists as well, having 1 unit of 10 and 1 unit of 8. I mean, okay, it's 58 points for 8.
Yeah, they're really cheap.
No, they're fine. But I didn't mind adding the extra couple of...
But Nick, how much stuff did your stubber kill? I think this is quite important. I even let you have an extra round of firing to see if you'd have done anything turn 5.
But one of the lasguns killed a...
Oh yeah, one of your auto rifles did kill a sanguinary guard. But that stubber, not worth the points, was it?
It was. I made you make some saves, but
you did.
It was 1 extra point, 1 point per thing. So I only spent an extra 14 points on the unit, which... Having the auto guns, maybe an extra point each for having auto.
All depends what you want them to do. If you're trying to set, I think there's another formation book where you can really easily sacrifice them for blood points, but that seems a bit of a waste.
No, I mean I wanted the cultists and the bloodletters to try and go for the relics, which we had, because it would then I wanted to try and force you to shoot at them, so I could get the blood points, and also whilst keeping my close combat ones, which I wanted to use. For obviously, like I wanted to try the Blood Crushers. I really liked them. I know they've got the close combat, which they got into.
I think they did quite well in that combat, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I was really happy with that combat. If the Bloodthirster had made it in that first round of combat, that could have swung it.
That would have been big. That would have been at least another turn early, wouldn't it?
Yes, and I mean, you never know. The Blood Crushers may have come out of that as well.
What do we think of the mission? The mission was basically designed to have a massive mashup, and I think it worked that way, giving everything plus 2-inch charge.
Yeah, I was happier with this game than the last game I played because the Bloodthirster was working for me.
Yeah, that last game where we had random Bloodthirst on the table, they all turned on Nick and killed him.
Yeah, they killed my tower.
But I quite like this mission. It worked reasonably well. I quite like the Blood Relic things.
It does well. I don't think it obviously would work as well with other armies.
Tau wouldn't enjoy this game particularly, or Impy Guard, but
Orcs
would, but Blood Angels and Daemonkin Khorne, they work quite well.
Yeah.
Okay, we better make a run, Nick, as it's quite late.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.
Bye.